I qualified to the PiG Festival number 6. I did so well in the qualifier that I did not expect that. I was planning to play the qualifier, play a couple of games, play a couple of very good practice games, and then, you know, once I'm out of the tournament, I'll just record the YouTube and I'll move on with my day. But I qualified to the main event. I beat some great players along the way, and because I didn't have the time to record my regular YouTube content, I thought I would just show you some of the highlights of the qualifier games from today. In round number 1, I beat Nicorek 2-0 quite swiftly, quite nicely, and in round 2, I was playing versus Lambo, and that was a very difficult match for me because I think Lambo is a great player and he also has a very good style that is not familiar for me, not very good for me, because I think he has a very good understanding of the matchup, and I think he is just a better player than I am. And in game number 1, I kind of predicted exactly what he's going to be doing, a mass roach ravager queen walk to try to deny my free bases, and I was trying to prepare for that from the beginning of the game. I invested a lot into the defenses. I had a very good immortal and stalker positioning. I have like 5 shield batteries here. The fight keeps on going, I tried to do some counter harassment on the other side of the map. I opened up this with an Archon drop, so that much has been happening before that game. It was basically like a big attack from Lambo, and I was thinking that I can do well in here, but there's so many Ravagers here, so many roaches, and despite me having a lot of batteries, this is not going super well for me. I've been split some of my Archons to the left side, as you could see, to make sure that they don't die at the front, but well, they died eventually because Lambo kept pushing with the overwhelming amount of Ravagers. I thought that even with like this amount of immortal, I had like 5-6 immortals, 5 shield batteries, pretty good warpism micro with the immortal, that I'm going to swiftly defend this, and it's looking good, it's looking better. The fights are looking okay for me because I know Lambo is kind of all in with this. I just need to swiftly defend this, and it's going somewhat okay, but there's still so many Ravagers here. I don't have Blink, I don't have Charge on the way. I forgot about that, those actives actually. And I try to collapse on Lambo. I trade some of the units behind this, but yeah, I defend my third base, but I lost a couple of probes. I don't have any Archons left, I don't have an Oracle left, I don't have the sentries left, so I think the trade was kind of okay, but I didn't mind that because I already had a good setup with this. I had a lot of gateways, I had a lot of immortals left, survived, but I didn't have any tech units outside of that. And as I was trying to rebuild my army and my economy, Lambo just surprises me with another attack at the third base. Very nice snipe on the Nexus with the corrosive balls. He doesn't commit to the attack and retreats after sniping my Nexus, and at this point I knew I'm in a lot of trouble. Not only I don't have necessarily a good counter-attack army, I didn't know exactly what he's going to be doing. I thought that I can maybe do a storm drop or something with this while I'm trying to rebuild my economy, because I don't think he can really break me right now. I have Storm, I have a War Prism, and I can probably stay in this game for a little bit longer. I don't think I'm ahead or anything, but I don't think Lambo can really crush me right now. So what I do is I send the War Prism across the map to do a storm drop, and it was pretty much the wrong decision to do because I go for the 4th base. I think I cannot be broken. I send the Templars across, and the moment I send the War Prism across with the Templars, Lambo attacks me with his main army like that. If I have these 4 High Templars right there that I have in the War Prism, in here, I can easily trade with this army. I can look at this, like it's so stormable. It's so stormable. But unfortunate for me, I send the War Prism across the map and I'm not ready for this. And my army gets surrounded before I can come back with the War Prism. And right after that, Lambo made a Mutalisk switch that I was thinking about, but I wasn't thinking that it's ready so soon. And even though I defended the third base, I simply don't have enough anti-air here, and Lambo crashes me with the Mutalisk switch, and I have to tap out right after that. In game number 2 versus Lambo, we had the beginning somewhat similar to the previous game, but the follow-up for Lambo was different. He didn't go for a mass roach ravager all-in, he was going for very quick Hive, Hydra Link, so I decided to go for a timing attack with lots of High Templars, lots of Storm. But look at the concave of Lambo in here. He engaged in here very nicely, even though I have so many High Templars. I found this engagement to be very difficult for me to control. Luckily for me, I had just enough Storms to deal with everything in here. I was able to do some harassment at the third base at the same time. This was actually his 4th base, and I have a 4 bases behind this as well. Because I killed his 4th base, I was thinking that if I can just keep pushing, I can probably win this game later on, because I have a 4th of my own. He doesn't have a 4th. I killed a lot of his Hydralisks. I just need to get a little bit of more High Templars, more energy, because the only thing that he has left right now is Hydralisk, Links, and potentially Lurkers right after that, because that's the usual transition. That was actually a very nice stasis trap in the middle of the map, simply because I thought that he's going to be chasing me if I fail my attack or something, and that stasis can trigger on some of the units, and that worked just perfect for me. I trapped a couple of Hydras. I put a High Templar in the War Prism. I see he only has Hydras, he only has Lynx. I don't have that much army in here, but I can use the High Templar from the drop to storm the main army if he comes in too clumped up. I warp in a couple of additional units. I chase forward. I see there's a lurker here, but I do have a observer ready to pounce on that lurker. Well, the observer is not gonna pounce, but you know, the observer will give me the vision on the lurker, and I think it's time to keep going. I'm not doing this perfectly. I'm kind of, you know, in the moment. I'm going for it. I'm just attacking, not doing it as perfect as possible. But Lambo is controlling his army quite well, because he doesn't have the overwhelming, the swarmy amount of units. I split some of my army to make sure that Lambo collapses on me. I have a flanking High Templar ready if necessary. And I storm the Hydras one more time. I see the lurkers just morphing as of right now, and I can feel that I'm close to tying up the series 1-1, and I'm feeling good about my chances in this game. I'll just skip forward a bit, because we keep on pushing, keep on micro, and keep on warping in units, and Lambo will shortly have to tap out after this timing attack, so we are tied up 1-1 right after this. I go for the final push. I try to go for the War Prism in the main base at the same time, but he has Queens ready. But he simply doesn't have enough. Couple of good storms onto the Hydralisks and too many Immortals. I guess Zealot warping in the natural base, and Lambo is forced to tap out. We go into game number 3 as it's tied up 1-1. In game number 3, I was thanking the Lord for the Protoss bullshit abilities, because look at this. I'm harassing here with the War Prism in the main base. I see the Spore is slightly out of position, so I put my War Prism in the phase mode. I try to warp in a couple of units. Unfortunate for me, I had 4 gateways in here, but I was supply blocked at 85 out of 85. The Pioneers were not just ready to get a full warp in, so I have to keep the War Prism away for a secondary warp in the moment the pylon finishes. But that exposes my Archons on the left side, and I cannot pick them up. Look at this. The Queens are zoning out the War Prism right here. I cannot pick up these Archons to the left side, so I have to either sacrifice the War Prism, I don't think that's the right call, or try to recall the Archons that are getting surrounded by the Lynx. And look how close it is. And the Archons are actually going to survive thanks to the recall, even though they were surrounded by the Lynx. I was like, thank God for the bullshit recall. And my War Prism also escapes. So what's similar to game number 2, my follow-up is going to be a timing attack with, you know, Storm, Immortal Archon on the 4th base of the Zerg. But I also know Lambo likes to cancel the 4th base of the Protoss, or I guess every Zerg likes to do that. So I keep on warping in Zealots there to prevent this from happening. But there are not only Lynx, but also multiple Hydralisks. And I'm not really ready for this attack. But neither is Lambo for his 4th base. So we're kind of trading 4th bases, and the chaos just ensues. Right now, once again, I'm thankful for the Protoss bullshit, because I'm using energy recharge on a single High Templar at the moment of the attack at the same time. I try to defend my 4th base while also killing the 4th base of Lambo. And I didn't watch it directly in game, but I want to see if my Storm perfectly hit the Hydras here, because I queued up the Storm in here, and I was fully managing this army at the bottom. And I just want to see if I did that properly. Here comes the High Templar. Oh, just perfectly on all of the Hydras, because I'm not looking at this. I'm looking at this is my camera. I'm looking at the fight in here. So I defend the 4th base quite nicely. And I also kill the Lambo's 4th base. So I'm liking my position here. But I don't have that many reinforcements for me. I have one single Storm that I was a bit too eager, I think, to do that. I see more Hydras popping up from the base. And yeah, this is not looking good. I think it's time to retreat. Lambo keeps chasing me, but I use the Stasis Ward from the Oracle to buy me time to retreat with my army. Lambo had to take, you know, additional 2-3 seconds to split against that Stasis Trap. That gives me enough time to retreat with the War Prism and pick up some of my units. I try to do the same trick again, but this time Lambo just focuses down the Stasis Trap. But once again, that bought me enough time to retreat from his army to the safety of my own base. After recharging some of my High Templars, I decided to go on the attack on the left side, because that's where Lambo has re-expanded, and also doing some kind of harassment at the 6 o'clock base. I know the amount of harassment I did to him and how the army is traded. This is a good chance for me to strike him right before the Lurkers are out. The Lurkers are out already. I have an observer here, but I know the Hive has been done for just some time, and I know there should not be a Lurker range. I cancel the 5th base at the bottom. I keep attacking him at the front with very good storms to zone out the Lurkers. The Lurkers do have range right now, but the main portion of the engagement has already gone through. I also still have this good squad of the Zealots at the bottom. I flank the Lurkers with the Zealots. I attack with the main army. There's also a Lurker here by Lambo defending, and that Spine Crawler is actually so annoying. Look, it's so annoying to deal with this because the zealots are being blocked, right, by the middle and the gas, and there's a lurker here that is dealing a lot of damage. That was a very good defense by Lambo, but because my frontal attack is doing so well, I knew it doesn't matter that much because at the 4th base and the 5th base has been killed by me. I have a fully saturated 4th base. I also have a mothership on the way, and shortly after that attack, Lambo has to tap out, and we beat him 2-1. I was very happy about beating him because I thought that was my hardest opponent in the tournament, alongside Showtime, which I will be playing next. And if I wouldn't have won versus Lambo, I wouldn't have a second shot at qualifying to the event. So my next opponent is Showtime, and I don't want to go into every game versus Showtime because I think that's just not worth it. I lost the series 3-1, but I wanted to show a couple of highlights from this series, and especially this one. In game number 2, I was already down 1-0. I went for a proxy robotics facility strategy versus Showtime. He was already ready for a sentry drop, but look at the micro of the War Prison and the Immortal here. I know he's trying to deny me from warping him more and trying to pick up. He's trying to focus down the War Prism. And I think I did that so well in here. The War Prism is zoning, like he's trying to walk in here. Stalker is there. Look at this. He's trying to kill the War Prism sentry from the lower ground. I saved the War Prism. I saved the Immortal. I was very happy about this. I thought I have the game won right there and then. So I pick up the Immortals. I put down the healthy Immortal first, try to focus fire the Immortal, but there's a shield battery here in the main base. He snipes one of my Immortals. The Stalkers are zoning out the War Prism, and not only I lose 2 Immortals, the Immortal of Showtime survives. So I was in a very bad position after that. I got way over eager. The shield battery really defends that, but I was still happy with the War Prism harassment and the War Prism micro that I did prior to that. It was just a wrong call to stay for such a long time. I kept being out on the map after that, keep making Immortals, and I think I cannot really go into the macro game. I just wanted to stay aggressive as much as possible. Showtime walks into me as I have a very good army here, kind of healed up my Immortals in the middle of the map. Good force fields prevent him from attacking with his entire army. It's just a War Prism versus War Prism micro, but I managed to split some of his army. I'm a bit sad I didn't have additional force field here to lock off these few Immortals, but it was a very nice PvP battle. Look how he's saving his Immortals, I'm saving mine. It's just, I love this sequence in here because it shows the very high level of both of these players. I sniped one of his Immortals back then, but I have to back off. He has to back off as well, and we basically traded the armies in here, but I saved most of my Immortals. I heal up my Immortals using the new feature of the map. I heal them up because Showtime cannot do that. PROTOSS army cannot be healed up, right? So you can only recharge your shields, but right now all of my Immortals are healthy, like they're brand new, shiny from the robotics facility, and I go for another round with pretty much only Immortals to try to finish off the game that I have started well, but kind of through. I walk into his base, there's so many shield batteries, and once again we'll have to micro to the best of my abilities. It's very hard for Showtime to fight versus this many Immortals, but also it's difficult for me to kill non-armored units because there's so many shield batteries in here, and the Immortals of Showtime are always getting a big value, fighting only against my Immortals. So it's a very difficult situation for both of us, I think, in this situation, but with the superior numbers in here, I felt confident that I can keep pushing. And I have so many Immortals here trying to pick up the wounded ones as much as possible. There are also 3 Immortals from Showtime. He has to pull probes. I try to back off. And once again, a micro battle between the two of us. But I simply have far too much in here for Showtime. I still have to back off. But I know I can have the reinforcing adepts coming in. There's not enough Immortals. I can easily micro with the War Prism. And once again, both of us micro to the best of our abilities. And I beat Showtime in game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. I was very happy with the micro in that game from my side. I lost the next 2 games to Showtime with his great macro and micro play with Blink Stalkers. He outplayed me. Well done to Showtime. And after losing to him 3-1, I was down to the last placement match, last best of 5 versus Spirit. The winner qualifies to the main event. And honestly, this game should have been the highlight of the entire tournament. It's criminal how this game has worked out, how I won this game. And I just want you guys to appreciate this because it's just absolutely craziness. If this was a standalone game, I would absolutely make a video about it, just, you know, just as a single game. But yeah, I just enjoy this one. So what happened here is in this match, he eBay blocked me. I was not really prepared for the eBay block, and I decided to proxy. But what he done immediately is he scouted my proxy with the Marine. So not only I got my expansion delayed, my proxy delayed, I actually got my proxy scouted. So I was in a terrible situation in here. He even scouts that I don't have an expansion with the SCV, so I don't know what to do. I'm like, alright, screw it, let's just go full all in. We're making double gateway, robo proxy, and let's just go for it. Let's try to micro. So I got my proxy ready, warp prism into the main base, let's try. And the very first thing I see, okay, supply depot here, he sees me, nice, let's warp it into the main base. And very unfortunate timing, look at the siege tank here, it just comes out at the bottom of the factory. If I go with the warp prism here, a little bit closer, I can snipe the siege tank, but I couldn't know if that factory unit is already done or it's about to be done, so that was very unfortunate for me. So he very easily defends the very first warp in. And I'm like, oh my god, this is a complete disaster. My expansion got delayed, my proxy got scouted and delayed. Now my proxy attack got completely cut like that. Like, it's just a complete disaster of a game. But you know me, I never give up and I keep on trying. I go for round number 2 in the front base of Spirit. I saw there's a siege tank in the main base, so maybe the natural is gonna be unprotected. I tried to snipe the bunker, but Spirit very quickly enough pulls a lot of SCVs and protects the bunker, so even bunker doesn't go die. So already 4 things are going super bad for me. So let's lift up the immortal, couple of stalkers, try to snipe the siege and get us in the main base, but Spirit reacts with the marines as well, and once again I got deflected. I continuously build immortals, try to do more harassment in the main base with the double immortal and maybe attack at the front at the same time if there's not enough defense. I see still the exposed siege tank, so using my experience with the immortal micro, I snipe the siege tank quite swiftly. And that's actually pretty good trade for me. The very first thing that actually works for me in this game is sniping the siege tank, making sure that he pulls a lot of SCV, so he's losing a lot of time. We also snipe this supply depot. It's beginning to look like a start of something, but I'm still not happy with my position. Another siege tank sieged up. I got actually 2 shots of the siege tank in the immortals. I misclicked and I didn't pick them up immediately. Alright, so it's time to go to the natural base once again. A couple of sentries, couple of immortals, siege tank in the natural, so let's drop the immortals on top of the siege tank. Guardian shield, I sniped the siege tank, the marines are just coming in right now. I think this is a good trade for me. I also have a guardian shield on my entire army, perfect positioning, I didn't lose any immortal. I force fielded the ramp, but the moment I force field the ramp, he has combat field finish and there's another siege tank on the in the main base, and I don't have the high ground vision, my immortals are too low, there's too many marines to risk the flying with the warp prism into the siege tank immediately, so I just back off and try to expand on my side of the map, while also harassing with the immortals to see if I can get any kind of damage done. There's already 2 siege tank here. I didn't really like that trade, but as long as I don't lose my key immortals, it's good. I lose 1, I lose a couple of stalkers, I kill the siege tank. Maybe that was a bit over eager. So once again, a lot of things went right for me, but this decision was probably not the right call. My entire army is red. I have no follow-up attack anytime soon. I need to warp in, and the game continues on. Time for some more immortal harassment. Checked for the siege tank positioning. I noticed that there's no star power, so there's no Vikings or anything, so I can freely fly around with the warp prism to the best of my abilities. I saw that there's a siege tank in the natural base, so I use the immortals and the adepts to snipe it. I lose the immortal for that, but that's not the biggest of deals. Obviously, I would prefer not losing it, but I think killing the siege tank is more important, because I still have 1 fresh immortal in the main base, and as he pulled his marines outside of position to defend the natural base, I collapse on the siege tank once again. And I sniped 1 more siege tank. I think I killed like 5 or 6 siege tanks already in this game. In the meantime, the trades were okay for me. Actually, looking at the resource loss tab, it was favorable to me. But of course, he has much more economy than me. Double base, more mules, and so on. It's a Terran economy, so it's not that easy. I tried to go for a cheeky force wheel on the ramp and try to lock him in, but that was not really possible because of the siege tank. But the force wheel is still there. The siege tank is on the ramp, so I go for another immortal drop, and another siege tank bites the dust, and the warp prism survives with both of the immortals. So many siege tanks die to the immortals. He cannot get enough of that. And at this point, I'm starting to like my position because I have an expansion going. It's not the greatest position I've ever been in, but at least I can maybe continue the game because I have an expansion that I can fall back to. But I don't want to stop. So we go in forward. 1 more guardian shield, 4 immortals. There's still no stim. For Spirit, I dropped my immortals once again to the range of the siege tank, but the SCVs are blocking my immortals very nicely. But I am just in range with the double immortal, and I save all of them. And I killed yet another siege tank, killed the bunker, and I'm saving all of my immortals as well as much as possible, while also delaying my opponent's economy by killing a lot of SCVs. Keeping the immortals alive is by far the most important thing for me in this game. Another warping of adepts, another fresh immortal coming in. After killing the siege tanks, a good amount of marines and especially SCVs, I'm fairly certain that I can go pretty much once more and find some another value with the warp prism and the double immortal. So the flanking warp prism comes in, snipes the siege tanks. I pick up the immortal, not losing any. Perfectly done. And once again, we killed yet another siege. I believe this is number 9. We can actually check that. That's actually number 8. Number 8 siege tank. I lost 1 immortal. I saved the other one. He has to lift the command center, and at this point, I think I can overwhelm him in just a moment. After the command center has to be lifted up, let's try to go for the main base. But I don't want to be over eager. Let's try to snipe the tech lab that is researching. I'm fairly certain this is going to be stim. Definitely not concussive shot because there's no marauders. I sniped this team. There's still one more siege tank, but I have so many immortals here. And now I'm scratching my head. Should I go for it or should I wait a little bit? But you know what? I've been doing so well. There's only one siege tank. Might as well give it a try to attack into that and try to finish the game. This could be a throw potential, but I think I've done well enough in this game that it's worth a try. I also have a lot of money in the bank as well, so I think I'll just warp in one more. Yeah, I do warp in one more time, and I'll just go for it. In the meantime, I could have done maybe like 12 counter or something, but let's just go for it. We go to the main base. There's 2 siege tanks, some marines, but once again, immortals trying to focus fire the siege tanks as much as possible. I lose the war prism, I lose a couple of immortals, but they're just far too much for me, and I actually win this game. I was so proud to win this game number 1 versus Spirit because everything was going so wrong for me from the beginning of the game, and I still made it work thanks to the power of Micah. The war prism and immortals just won me the game, and I was so happy to win this one. Couple of highlights from game number 2 versus Spirit, linking into the natural base, delaying the bunkers. He went for a triple CC opening, and I noticed that with my hallucination scout. I will just actually show you that I did see that there's a triple CC, so I was microing my stalkers to the best of my abilities. After sniping the bunkers, he had to pull a lot of SCVs, and I was very happy with the micro I did in this game as well. I also got my third base behind this. Couple more gateways, and let's go once again. Zealot at the front to tank the siege tank damage, both of the siege tanks. I blink forward, snipe the siege tank number 1, and I back off as soon as possible, picking the stalkers to the war prism. There's still 2 siege tanks behind this, so I cannot really continue moving forward. I need to wait for additional warp in. I spotted the range of the siege tanks, so I'm dealing more damage with these stalkers while also making sure I macro a bit behind this. Once again, Zealot to the front to tank the tank shots. Blink forward, sniping one siege tank. The other siege tank barely doesn't go down. I have to refocus fire it. Was a bit of a worse trade, but still good enough because I killed both the siege tanks. Unfortunately, I lose a war prism after this, but I still think it was a very good situation for me. Eventually, Spirit is going to defend this because I don't have the reinforcements of the war prism, but I was really happy with the positioning of the stalkers and of the zealots that I had before this. As a follow-up to the aggression, I wanted to do a frontal attack with the stalker and zealots while also warping in a numerous amount of zealots to the main base with charge. But Spirit was very well prepared for this, and that really caught me off guard and made him come back into this game quite nicely. Look at this. I'm trying to set up the flank from all of the positions, but there's a turret in the main base already. So he spotted this. There's another turret in the main base as well. There's already army here, so I cannot really warp in. Alright, might as well go to the front. Let's see if I can do something here. There's not a lot of bio, but there's more bio coming from the high ground. I force it down the ramp. The second turret kills my war prism, so I cannot warp in anything. I'm floating a lot of money, and I lost a lot of units. Mind you, I don't have a forge right now, so I'm really not liking my position. At least I killed a couple of SCVs here and there. My worker count is looking good. The third base has not been landed for turn yet. But I believe with this move, with this very good defense of Spirit, he easily came back into this game right now, and that was a blunder from my side. Right after defending the attack, Spirit counterattacks me, and I don't have much at home. I have basically only stalkers, couple of zealots and sentries versus an entire turn army, so it's crucial for me to try to defend this. Good set of force fields. I dragged the Widowmine shot to the bio army, and Spirit moves to the right side. Luckily for me, I saved a lot of the stalkers from the previous fights, and my economy was pretty good throughout the entirety of the aggression, so I was able to warp in a lot of units, but I still really don't like my position right now. I'm losing a lot of probes. Spirit is on 1-1 upgrades. Once again, I don't have any forges. I don't have any upgrades on the way. I don't even have a Colossus on the way. But I'm able to clean up his army at the third base without losing a Nexus. And with the War Prism flying into the third base and me sniping these medivacs right now, I see that I maybe still have a chance in this game because there are still no SCVs at the third base of Spirit. Shortly after that, I just counterattack with the Blink Stalkers and I go for another blunder on my side without any vision. I'm taking a gamble. I'm thinking that Spirit is now counter-attacking me with the medivac, so I just blink into the main base trying to snipe the orbital command, but his entire bio arm is still at home and I lose a lot of stalkers here. And once again, I am not in a good spot here anymore. I just started my forge upgrades. I just started my first Colossus production. My economy is looking okay because the third base is still not landed for Spirit, but my army is just weaker. About a minute later, I gather my entire army, wait for my 1-1 upgrades to finish. I move in with 2 Colossus before he has too many Vikings, and I just try to go for it. I don't think I can keep up with the macro of Spirit as of right now, because the game has been not working very well for me. I go for the main engagement. Very good EMPs by Spirit, but also a decent position for my army to fight. All of my Stalkers are fighting. The Colossus were dealing with the Marines as well. I survive with one of my Colossus, plus I also have a lot of Zealots in the natural base of Spirit. I have to use the reinforcements from my main base, or rather from my third base, because I lost the War Prism. I try to snipe the Vikings as soon as possible, and there's not a lot of bio left here. I also have the Zealots in the natural base, so I know there's not going to be any immediate reinforcements. I focus fire with Stalkers, the Medivacs, the important stuff. I don't try to A-move here, attack the Ghost or SCVs, because the Medivacs would out-heal that. So I snipe all the Medivacs, and I gather all of my reinforcements as soon as possible. Spirit doesn't have any Medivac to retreat right now, because I just sniped all of them. I blink forward, snipe the Ghost. I see the Widowmites are recharging, so I'm going to be using the micro to dodge that. In just a moment, trying to snipe the orbital command in the natural base. I move forward to the Blink Stalkers. Out micro the Widowmites for a moment, 1 and 2. Move forward, there's a 4th base, and Spirit leaves without the GG, and I am up 2-0 in a qualifying match. And from game number 3, I wanted to show just the last minutes of the game. That not much has happened before that. Spirit was macroing, I was macroing, we both kind of did our own thing, but I didn't see this 4th base push. Spirit is maxed out as of right now, and his army is really strong. I have a couple of Colossus, 1 Disruptor, but my army, I don't think it really stands chance versus his. He has so much in here. I try to defend to the best of my abilities. I lose the 5th base, good EMP on my entire army. I don't have a Disruptor shot. I'm just losing almost everything, and I don't have immediate reinforcement. I tried to do a counterattack with the Zealots at his 3rd base, but there's a bunker defending him. I have to back off. I lost the 5th base, I lost the 4th base, and I didn't really trade the armies that much. The only thing that I noticed is that his army is stimmed quite a lot, and I was able to get my reinforcements. So before he gathers his reinforcements, I think it's my time to go, because he was really overstimmed. I try to flank him with a Disruptor, but there's a Widowmine there, and he stims once again. I save the Colossus from the Vikings. His bio army is very damaged. I warp in directly into the fight. I lose the War Prism to the main fight, but at least I pushed back his entire army. I don't have a 4th, I don't have a 5th. You know, might as well just give it a try to find his army that is very bruised somewhere out on the map. I was not able to catch it, so now he's either going to be fully counter-attacking me, or he's going to be trying to flank my attack in here. But because I have my entire army at least in one place, I think it's on my only chance to try to win this game. I go forward, dodge the AMPs with the blink back, split some of my Zealots to the natural base of Spirit, and now I see that he's counter-attacking actually with his entire army. I cannot really fight with this, but he cannot fight with my army. I know he also has a 4th at 12 o'clock, because that's the time of the game already, and there's going to be a planetary fortress, so I cannot really break that with my army. I decide to back off to my natural base. I trade some of my army to the 3rd base. Very good Colossus shots on the Marines. I snipe some of the Vikings, some of the Marauders. We basically trade these armies, but I micro my Colossus back to the best of my abilities, save it as much as possible, because I cleared up the natural base and the 3rd base of Spirit. So we're basically on 2 bases each, but my natural is very mined out. I cannot fight this army with just warpness. There is simply too much. So what I decide to do is recall with my 1 Colossus that I saved from the Vikings, and I take this fight quite nicely. He loses a lot of his army. That reinforcements flank was actually very good. I saved the Colossus with the War Prism micro. I sniped his half of the army, and now all I need to work with is his reinforcements from the main base. I still cannot break through the planetary fortress at 12 o'clock that much, because my army is not good at dealing with the repair, but at least I know I have a quote-unquote 4th base done at the middle of the ley lines, and let's just try to fight, try to micro. I kill a lot of Medivacs, I kill a lot of Vikings, so there cannot be that much anti-air versus Colossus. So let's see how much he can he has here. He has only double Medivac. I blink forward, snipe a single unit, warp in a lot of Stalkers. I have the money for that. That 1 Colossus is the absolute MVP. Terran army is very hard to fight versus this if he doesn't have any Vikings. I blink forward, snipe one of the Marauders. I see he still doesn't have enough. I decide to leave a couple of Stalkers behind the middle line of the planetary fortress fortress base, so I can attack some of his army, and I force him to go down the ramp to the Colossus dealing a lot of damage, and Spirit leaves without GG the 2nd time, and I beat him 3-0, and that makes me a qualified player to PiG Festival 6.0, and I beat him 3-0. I was very happy with this series. I think just a lot of fortunate things happened to me. This really didn't feel like a 3-0 victory, because I think the games were much closer than the results shows, but I was very happy to finally get that victory and to get those games closed out just like that with, I think, quite a chaotic and nice fashion. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of whatever that was in StarCraft 2. Like I said, that was just a couple of highlights from the qualifier to the Pixie Festival 6.0. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if you did enjoy it. And yeah, I'll be playing the main event. Let's go. GG.